On this Memorial Day weekend, President Trump addressed the graduating cadets at West Point and their families while wearing a red Make America Great Again hat. It comes as he's imposed his own political agenda on the military, and yesterday's remarks were no different as he gave a campaign-style speech touting his crackdown on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in the military.
We've liberated our troops from divisive and demeaning political trainings. There will be no more critical race theory or transgender for everybody forced onto our brave men and women in uniform or on anybody else for that matter in this country.
This comes in the wake of Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordering major changes at military academies, targeting diversity programs and ordering academies to eliminate, quote, divisive concepts. But his immigration agenda was also front and center in yesterday's speech, as he referenced sending the Army to the southern border and his plans for mass deportations.
It's not easy. It's not easy. But hopefully the courts will allow us to continue. You know, we had the greatest election victory. We had a great mandate, and it gives us the right to do what we want to do to make our country great again, and that's what we're going to do.
Aside from his ramblings about everything from golf to Al Capone, Trump also griped about how the United States doesn't hold celebrations of military victories. But he'll get his parade this year. That's because on June 14th, the Army will hold a parade to recognize its 250th birthday, which also happens to be President Trump's 79th birthday. The first tanks bound for the parade began their journey this week from Texas to the nation's capital. And the price tag for Trump's military parade, just a mere $45 million. Joining us now, former aide to Speakers Paul Ryan and John Boehner and current MSNBC political analyst Brendan Buck, and former Pennsylvania Congressman Conor Lamb. Congressman Brendan, welcome to the weekend. So, Congressman Lamb, you're the former member of Congress here. So, what your thoughts on the President of the United States holding a military parade and spending $45 million to do it?
You know, it's one of those things. If it wasn't all about him, it might be positive. You know, it might help drive recruitment and celebrate the service that these people perform. But between his speech yesterday and the parade being on his birthday and the way his whole administration is behaving, he's dividing the pool of people that want to serve in the military into his loyalists and everybody else, which ultimately undermines the military and makes this a bad move.
Brendan, one of the things that Republicans used to talk about is the fact that they wanted to keep politics out of the military. The speech, as Jonathan just laid out very clearly, had that in spades over and over and over again. We shouldn't be surprised or shocked because it's Donald Trump, but are Republicans just their hands up? They don't care, even the ones that really care about keeping politics out of the military?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's Republican or Democrat. And I will say, I've actually always had an issue with presidents going and giving speeches in front of military audiences.
Even though they're commander-in-chief.
Now, if they're going in the role of commander-in-chief and they have some specific reason to be there in that position, I think I can understand that. Yeah. But Donald Trump is certainly not the first president who has gone and given a speech that veered into the political in front of the military, and I've always been uneasy about that. Yeah. Now this is taking it to a whole other level. He's got the hat. Yeah. I don't know if he was worried about his hair or something, but like it was clearly not just there in his role as commander-in-chief. And there was some, I guess, some elements of it that were a normal commencement speech, but it is politicizing the military in a way that I'm just very uncomfortable with in general. Presidents have done it a lot, and now we're just getting further and further down this road. I don't think that's what the service academies are for, to have politics injected into what they're doing. They have one mission, service of this country, and it should have nothing to do with everything else that's going on in Washington. So I find it very uncomfortable, and I sort of always have.
Well, and just for context, every year the president rotates between the 4 service academies, and it was when I was working for President Bush, when he was going to West Point, I remember working on the dress for that, and it wasn't looking at anything remotely campaign related. What they had me do was find heroism stories of West Point graduates in our recent wars. And so that was the emphasis about their service, about, the history, the storied history. It wasn't about this just celebration of himself and then random rants about trophy wives. But that just, it was really, you kind of just wonder. But former congressman, are you there, Connor?
He's there.
Okay, he's not there. Does this climate make you think, I want to get back to Washington right now?
Well, who it has me thinking about is the service members themselves. I was in basic officer training for the Marine Corps in 2009 when Obama went to West Point, and they actually broke our training, assembled us all in the squad bay, and set up a little TV for us to watch his address because he was explaining why he wanted to send more troops to Afghanistan and what it was about. And my recollection of that is that there were probably 50 people in the room with me, and I bet there were not 10 Obama voters in that room, but there wasn't a single person who doubted the mission. And that was like a really hard time in our lives. We're barely sleeping, barely eating, being pushed to the max. And that speech gave us a sense of purpose of what we were doing there and why we were making those sacrifices. And I think with Trump, when you have him making everything partisan and everything aligned between him and everyone else, you're never going to get that same feeling of motivation in the service members and the desire to make all these sacrifices because it's about the country. You'll get the people who like him that want to do that, but everybody else in the country is going to be left wondering, do I even join the military after this? And that's what we're losing when you have days like yesterday.
Elise brought up, trophy wives. Let's just play it because it was one of many rambles in the president's speech.
Alphonse Capone was a monster. He was a very hardened criminal. I went through more investigations than Alphonse Capone, and now I'm talking to you as president. Can you believe this? I must tell you, a lot of trophy wives. Doesn't work out. They subjected the armed forces to all manner of social projects and political causes while leaving our borders undefended and depleting our arsenals to fight other countries' wars. The job of the U.S. Armed Forces is not to host drag shows. We will not have men playing in women's sports, if that's okay.
And so, Congressman, as a member of the military, a veteran, if you had been sitting out there and for that speech yesterday, how would you feel? What would you be thinking?
I mean, I probably would have laughed at the absurdity that I'm supposed to follow this person. That's what in the military, you really want to admire your leaders because you're making true sacrifices for them and putting a lot on the line. And the idea that this guy is who's going to lead these amazing young Americans is just a joke. And I feel bad for their families who were in the audience and probably sacrificed a lot too to get them there.
Brendan, we have the NSC dismissing some staff, or sources believe at least half of workers are being affected. So it's not just the kind of rambling speech we saw with Donald Trump. There's also the different way that they approach national security, the military. We've seen what Hegseth has done at the Department of Defense, or sometimes hasn't done. I'm curious, as someone who I assume cares about the national security of the country, when you hear something like that, right, that half of those folks are either going back to the departments in which they were at originally or being dismissed, what does that say about how this administration views the national security apparatus?
Well, it's hard not to look at all this through the filter of how Laura Loomer came in and sort of rooted out leaders within the National Security Council. When your national security apparatus has to run through a filter of sort of the MAGA world rather than, first and foremost, can you keep America safe, that's a real problem. And I mean, the speech is sort of more to it. I mean, everything sort of is part of this political apparatus, and nothing exists in the lane that it should, and nothing is really sacred anymore. The military is not sacred. The courts are not sacred, and the sort of separation of powers. Everything is just part of the Trump show, and it takes away, I think, from a lot of the principles that make our country special, and what has worked for us for so long is we take these things very seriously. We don't allow politics to seep into all of it. And whether it's the National Security Council or anything else, politics seem to be driving everything, and that's very concerning.
Well, it's just been a sea change since 2015 when Donald Trump hit the scene in terms of Republicans and foreign policy, going from a very interventionist foreign policy to now a more restrained, J.D. Vance calls it strategic realism. Do you think that Trump's grip on changing the foreign policy of the GOP is complete, or do you still think it's more of a they're following him, but deep down they still want to have a more robust military presence?
No, I think there's a lot of tension there still,
Yeah.
and I think most Republicans still believe in a really strong military. And that's what,
Secretly.
even Donald Trump thinks we should have a strong military. He wants to have a big parade showing off all of our tanks. He just has that sort of isolationist view. I think it's going to ultimately play out, and see, and how, the result is going to be how it plays out. You know, what we're doing around the world, trying to retreating, I don't think is going to work, and I think that's going to have a lasting impact on how people see Trumpism. Same thing with a lot of his tariff policy. When you put it in practice, and Trump gets, you know, what he says he's always wanted, and we see that it doesn't work very well, I think people will be able to, the traditional conservatives who believe in strong national security will use that to their advantage. So I don't think this is one place where I don't think the sort of war within the party has been lost. I think you have a lot of very strong national security conservatives who still want to have their say.
You know, wait, how much time do we have left?
Yeah, because we could keep going on that one for a while. Because
okay, good. Because Congressman, I think you just mentioned J.D. Vance, the vice president. You mentioned J.D. Vance, the vice president. You know, he says, I'm going to put up this headline from the Associated Press. Vance says Trump will use U.S. military decisively rather than in open-ended conflicts of the past at his Naval Academy graduation speech. Open-ended conflicts, I guess that's a reference to what they were calling forever wars. But to Elise's, I think it was Elise's point about the change in the Republican Party from interventionist to this point, what's worse than isolationism? Like, you can't, I mean, your view of this new, what seems to be the new Trump-Vance doctrine of American military might.
Well, I think you have to look at it in the context of everything that Trump does, which is usually about settling his own scores and sort of carrying out his own political hatchet job. So if it were truly a doctrine of we're going to use military force decisively, but in a limited way, and that's going to apply across the board, and we're going to make those decisions based on like the merits of every case, I think a lot of Americans would feel pretty good about that. But what we usually see from Trump is, like with his tariff policy, for example, he targets people that make him mad or that he thinks are not serving him particularly. So what this policy is probably really going to be is the use of military force in situations where Donald Trump himself personally gets annoyed with whoever the target is or wants to demonstrate some sign of strength because he's struggling politically somewhere else.